So I was just imagining a conversation with receptive people, like imagining that someone new would genuinely congratulate me on my sologamy wedding and marriage, and the topic of narcissism versus unconditional self-love being a thing, and how I would explain that to people. And there's a number of ways I explain it and would explain it. And the thought I just had that I wanted to record is that, for one, most people understand the definition of narcissism incorrectly, as narcissism meaning loving oneself too much. And that is not something that is possible. What narcissism is a complete absence of self-love. And so it presents itself as a caricaturized, illusory, performative loving of oneself too much, when really it's the person embodying the narcissism is just trying to convince everyone outside of themselves that they are lovable, so that they can validate themselves in a sense of being lovable that they don't truly deeply believe themselves. Unconditional self-love, true and the only true self-love, is the antithesis of narcissism. And I would say the cure, really, in time. And it is loving oneself to the point where that love overflows sustainably to everything and everyone inevitably around them. And a way to envision this is or something to keep in mind first, is that if you want to differentiate narcissism and unconditional self-love, narcissism causes active harm to everyone and everything around the person embodying narcissism. The expense paid on everything and everyone around them does not matter to them. They do harm in their love of self, the complete absence of love within themselves. Someone who embodies unconditional self-love may offend, annoy, piss off people around them by embodying that self-love, because it provides a mirror and a contrast to those who are feeling miserable and not loving themselves. It brings awareness to that, and so the defense mechanisms can come up for people. But ultimately, unconditional self-love does not cause any actual harm to anybody else. It is not at the expense of other people, their safety, their well-being. It may bring attention to uncomfortable aspects of other people, but it does not actually harm other people. Where in narcissism, they will do anything, everything to preserve their ego. Unconditional self-love is the integration of ego, understanding and having awareness of one's own ego's presence, but is not the embodiment of ego, as narcissism is. And a visualization for this being a person embodying narcissism would go around saying that they are the light, when really they're the person in the darkness holding a flaming torch, just fucking burning everything and anyone that's in the darkness, without even like trying to analyze who or what they're pointing the flaming torch at. Or not even flaming torch, the what's it called? The the gun that shoots the flames, like the weapon, right? So they're the ones saying, I'm the light, and everyone should see how bright my light is as they're fucking shooting the flames around. While a person embodying unconditional self-love is the person stoically holding a torch and either standing still or going at just a steady pace, doing their own thing, so that others who are aligned or attracted to that light can come to them as they so choose, or those who wish to stay in the darkness or are most comfortable in the darkness may get annoyed, bothered by the light, and either just move away from it naturally, or they may like hiss or yell, or even momentarily like do like false attack sort of things. But there's no active harm being done. It's just a certainty of self, embodying love. It's not forcing anything upon anyone else. It's just embodying love. So that's just what I wanted to share. And as someone who is a sologamist, someone who experiences, and this isn't the same thing for everybody, everyone has their own practices and things, so this is just speaking of my own experience. So along with the sologamy, I experience autoromanticism, autosexuality, not solely, but is the primary relationship I have. It's important for everyone, I think, in their own time, to understand these differences, because to the untrained eye, they can appear very similar or be assumed to be the same when they are actually opposites. And more often than not, I find that those who understand have had similar foundations in this lifetime that I've had, of the narcissist parent and them being the empath child sort of dynamic. So to the empaths who have lived it firsthand with a narcissist parent or narcissist partner, it seems so clear once you're outside of those dynamics. But to those who are still in those relationships at a certain point, before the threshold of the veil starts peeling back, and for those who have had no experience with people embodying narcissism personally, like directly, it can be very easy to overlook and to put blame or focus on the empath instead of the narcissist in those dynamics. And none of this had anything to do with the election, but just as a note, I'm now feeling like this is the relevancy here on the larger scale, outside of, just the core of self-love being an important thing for us to karmically move towards, to be love in unity, consciousness. Narcissists are in positions of illusory power, and have been. And so I think it's time that on a larger scale, we learn very clearly to distinguish these differences between the illusion and the real. I'm going to leave that there for now. I am off to bed, but thank you for listening, and I love you.